Live from downtown Detroit, Local 4 News at 11 starts now.
No longer is it a choice between voting absentee and voting on Election Day in Michigan. A big change to how all of us vote begins tomorrow morning with 9 days of early in-person voting before Election Day. Local clerks have been preparing for this for months. Starting tomorrow morning, you have the option of casting your vote in person. However, it won't be counted until Election Day. Thanks for joining us, everybody. I'm Kimberly Gill.
And I'm Damon Fernandez in for Devin Skillian tonight. Our Mara McDonald is live in the newsroom. And Mara, voters approved this back in 2022. It's going to be the first time we see it in action here tomorrow.
Damon, that's right. Starting bright and early tomorrow morning and going for 9 days. Let me show you how this whole thing works. The idea behind early voting is to try and ease long lines and snafus of in-person voting on Election Day. But unlike Election Day, you're not going to see all the polling places up and running. Instead, each community will choose its early voting sites. For example, in my township, there will be 2. If voting early is something you're interested in, best to check out your local clerk's page and see what they've designated as early voting locations.
A voter comes in, gets their ballot, marks their ballot, and enters it in to the voting tabulator. Those ballots will be counted on Election Day.
But not before. So now all of us have 3 options when it comes to voting: absentee, early in-person voting, and voting on Election Day. The difference being whether you go to your designated polling place on Election Day or whether you go to one of the dedicated early voting spots your community clerk has chosen. It starts on the 17th and will run through the 25th. The primary election day is February 27th, and that process will go on as it always has. The Michigan Secretary of State did a Zoom briefing today to go over details, but local clerks, they've been prepping for this for months. Back here live, something to consider. You know, we've always had a version of this. You know, I cover a lot of politics for the station, and I like to cover Election Day and vote in person to sort of get a taste of the temperature of what's going on. Well, in years that I know ahead of time that my Election Day is going to be nuts and I'll likely never get there, I took advantage of what we all could have taken advantage of, which is go to the local clerk's office, tell them you're not going to be able to make it, you get your ballot on the spot, you fill it out, and you turn it in. All we are seeing here is essentially an expansion of that. We're going to see how the rollout goes. We're going to stay on top of it. Damon, Kimberly, we're live in the newsroom tonight. Back to you.
Yeah, Mara, you know, early voting was something we got used to back in Texas, and it really can be a smooth process for convenience sake. All right, thanks, Mara. Now, you can expect more from our Local 4 team during this election season by scanning the QR code you see right now on the left side of your screen. You can find your early voting locations, view a sample of your specific ballot, and confirm whether or not you're registered to vote in this primary election. Now, if you can't scan the code, we also have all of this information posted for you to the election section on clickondetroit.com. Well, keeping farm animals may soon be allowed in the city of Detroit, specifically chickens, ducks, and bees.
Jacqueline Francis is taking a look at the proposal going before council. She joins us with reaction from residents. Jacqueline.
You may be thinking, I already know people in Detroit who keep chickens or ducks, and that's because people do, although technically it's not legal. And that's something that Councilman James Tate and others are working to change.
Where I grow food for the community to pick, where they can just come up and pick their own food.
It's hard to imagine in the dead of winter, but come spring, Tiffany Pilson's yard turns into a green space full of produce and some chickens.
That's their little gate they come out because they're free range.
Right now, keeping chickens or any farm animal is technically illegal in the city of Detroit.
I'm still going to probably have chickens.
But a proposal looks to change that.
I believe I'm saying this on camera, whether it's legal or not.
Saying it would help with food insecurity and promote economic opportunities.
The community that I live in, they need it. You know, eggs went up to $4 or $5 a dozen. That's ridiculous. Most people in this area can't afford that.
Tiffany says if passed, more people will seize the opportunity. The ordinance would only allow chickens, ducks, and bees.
We need the honeybees, not just for the honey, but They're very important pollinators.
Although some residents worry about how the animals will impact the neighborhood.
Chickens I don't really mind because, some people use them to eat, and they just do that on themselves, but bees, no. I don't care for bees at all.
Unfortunately, the animals are getting a bad rap, but the animals aren't irresponsible. The people are irresponsible.
The City Planning Commission will be holding a public hearing on this coming Thursday, February 22nd. We have that information on our website, clickondetroit.com. Reporting live in Detroit, Jacqueline Francis, Local 4.
Okay, Jacqueline, thank you.
A prisoner was found unresponsive in his jail cell yesterday in Dearborn Heights. Tonight, Dearborn police are working with state investigators to figure out what happened after 63-year-old prisoner from Inkster was found unresponsive. The discovery was made during a routine check around 8 o'clock last night. The man was being held on a charge for drunk driving. He was taken to a local hospital where he was pronounced dead. Now, police are trying to figure out the cause of death.
Detroit police hope surveillance video from nearby homes can help them solve a 17-year-old's murder. It happened this morning in the area of Mack and Balfour near the Detroit-Grosse Pointe Park border. Officers found a teenager dead inside a car that was shot. It's not clear where the actual shooting took place or if the car continued on for some distance afterward.
New tonight, more test results have been released after the mysterious chemical spill in Warren's Bear Creek.
The second round of test results show PFAS, cyanide, and heavy metals present in slightly elevated levels. Officials say there's no risk to the public. The spill was noticed February 7th after a water line broke on January 24th at a former plating shop and washed chemicals into storm drains, leading to Bear Creek. Eagle says they're still investigating.
A judge is ordering former President Donald Trump and his companies to pay nearly $355 million in his civil fraud case. Mr. Trump is also banned from serving as an officer or director of any New York corporation or other legal entity in the state for 3 years. His sons, Eric and Donald Trump Jr., are barred for 2 years. Now, we're told Mr. Trump plans to appeal the decision. Meantime, the former president will be in Metro Detroit tomorrow night. He's holding a rally in Waterford at 7 p.m. You can register to go on his campaign website.
Road crews are getting ready to start a major project along I-696 between I-275 and the Lodge. Starting tomorrow, both directions of traffic on I-696 will be shifted to the eastbound lanes between I-275 and the Lodge Freeway. Several ramp closures will also start, with the first being the northbound I-275 ramp to eastbound I-696. You can find the full timeline of this project on our website at clickondetroit.com. All right, let's get a check of the weather as we head into the weekend here.
Yeah, here's a live look at the Detroit River from our Windsor Skycam. Let's get over to forewarned meteorologist Kim Adams with a look at the forecast. Hey there, Kim.
Hey, well, it is dry across much of Metro Detroit, but we are picking up a few very light snow showers on ExactTrack 4D radar. So I want to go in a little closer and take a look at what's happening right now. So there's a light snow shower in Franklin, parts of West Bloomfield down to Beverly Hills, and then also right along 696. And it's been sitting there for a little while, so there could be just a brief coating, and temperatures are below freezing. So just watch out for just a few slippery spots. Most of Metro Detroit is completely dry. There's another area that I've been keeping an eye on out by Brighton, just south of Howell, in Pinckney, Hamburg, and Webster. So even though temperatures are below freezing right now and we only have a few flurries around, just if you're going out tonight, just be aware there are those pockets of very light snow showers. 27 in Mount Clemens and Port Huron, 24 in Pontiac, 29 downtown. Tomorrow, coldest day of the week for sure. 22 in the morning, wind chills will be in the low teens, possibly the single digits in some spots. And then our high reaches 27 degrees, but a big warm up, including a 50-degree day. We'll talk about that coming up.